Disney's Renaissance era, an era full of incredible songs, stunning animation, beautiful writing, barely any non-musicals, and luckily no sequels. Except for one movie.
Brother, what's that?
Yeah, this movie sticks out like a sore thumb in the Renaissance era. First of all, it's the only sequel in this era and one of the only non-musicals. But I wouldn't rank a movie this low just for that reason. The Rescuers Down Under just isn't that great. First of all, can the child be even dumber than he already is? The villain is like, oh no, I've just heard that the eagle is dead, even though I've been here with you the entire time, so I couldn't possibly know that. But who is going to take care of those eggs? And then the kid is like, oh, yeah, I'll go take care of the eggs. So then he goes to the eggs, the villain follows him, and he finds the eggs. Wow, who would have thought that? And what's up with that entire, oh, let's make Bernard propose to Bianca, but then it goes wrong and now a guy comes in between them because we're setting up this love triangle that we do absolutely nothing with. And by the end of the movie, it's like we never even had a love triangle, so who even cares about the love triangle? No one. But by far, the biggest joke about this movie is that the rescuers and the boy meet after 57 minutes. Okay, but now it sounds like I hate this movie. Actually, I enjoyed it. I thought the climax was fine. I thought the movie was fine. Just not at the Renaissance level. And Joanna is a legend.
No! God!
Let's just address the elephant in the room. Pocahontas is known for being historically inaccurate, which makes it offensive to some people and already leaves it with a bad aftertaste. But besides that, there isn't much reason to defend this movie. It's boring. I don't think I have seen a more vanilla cast of characters in my life. The romance is straight up trash, and I usually love romantic stories. However, this one just isn't great. Also, why can the trees talk but not the animals? Then again, I'm kind of happy the animals don't talk because talking animals tend to be annoying sometimes. The only good thing about Pocahontas is the soundtrack. The songs are amazing. Colors of the Wind is a beautiful, iconic song. Just Around the River Bend is an underrated gem. Savages is in my top 10 favorite Disney villain songs. Beside the songs, this movie doesn't have anything amazing. Even the ending sucks. Seriously, the ending is horrible. I hate it. The Hunchback of the Notre Dame gives me a hard time when it comes to ranking it. I respect it a whole lot, but at the same time, I kind of dislike it, but I kind of like it. It's complicated. This movie has a really dark tone, which is something I don't prefer, and the tonal issues don't help its case either. However, it tells an amazing story without holding back. Frollo is one of the most intimidating, cruelest, darkest villains out there. His motives are purely driven by his desire for Esmeralda. This is one of the few movies where the main character doesn't get everything he wanted, but still has a happy ending. And then the soundtrack. I generally think this is one of the best Disney soundtracks we've gotten. God Help the Outcast absolutely gives me the chills. It's so beautiful and I could listen to it all day. And then Hellfire. Hellfire is the best villain song ever written. Unfortunately, there is one really bad song which comes along with the worst part of the movie, the Gargoyles. I hate them. Even though this isn't my favorite movie from the Renaissance era, it's still an amazing movie.
You ain't never had a friend like me.
I'll just start off with what I dislike about this movie. I don't like the protagonists. Aladdin constantly lies throughout the entire film. I've seen the liar reveal trope so many times, and other movies did it better. In Aladdin are amazing. This is one of my favorite Disney soundtracks, if not my absolute favorite. One Jump Ahead is such a fun song that introduces us to the main character. And the line, I only steal what I can't afford, that's everything, is so clever. I love it. Friend Like Me is so nostalgic to me. I did some theater growing up, and this was one of the songs we had to sing. Prince Ali is a fun song, and the reprise is amazing too. A Whole New World is a beautiful song and one of my favorite iconic scenes of all time. While I don't care much for the protagonist, the rest of the characters are a delight to watch. Jafar is fun, yet truly evil. The Prince Ali reprise really showcases his personality, confident, evil, and playful with his power. Genie is one of the comic relief characters I genuinely find funny. The color scheme of this movie is absolutely stunning. I love how it starts with brownish tones in the town, then shifts to bright colors in the palace, and when Jafar takes over the kingdom, it turns dark and red tones, matching Jafar. And I really enjoy watching this movie.
You'll be in my heart.
Tarzan is one of the few non-musical Renaissance movies, but Tarzan still has a lot of songs in it. Let's talk about that first. In some ways, I wish this movie was a musical, but in other ways, I don't. Here's the thing. You'll Be in My Heart is so much more powerful when it isn't sung by the characters, because it shows the connection between Tarzan and Kala and the struggles of Kala losing her own child instead of saying it. Especially because the opening didn't use any words, this felt like such a heartwarming, powerful moment to me. And I also don't see Strangers Like Me being a musical number, because Tarzan is learning about the human things, so he's also learning the language. And it would be a little weird if he would sing about learning a language, because how would he speak that language? I feel like that would be so confusing. Also, why does Tarzan have an American accent when he's learning English from Jane, who has a British accent? I don't get it. But despite thinking those two songs shouldn't have been musical numbers, I do wish there were musical numbers, especially when all the animals were making music together. I just wish they started singing. And when they weren't singing, it felt a little bit awkward. But we've talked way more than enough about those songs. Something I despise about this movie are the side characters, Turk and Tantor. They are so annoying. Also, the villain is pretty bad. Another poorly executed plot twist villain. But his death was surprisingly cruel. But those are all my complaints. The rest of the movie is amazing. Tarzan and Jane are such a compelling protagonist, and their relationship is so cute. I like how they connected when they first saw each other and then slowly fell in love. Also, I love the ending where Tarzan acts like, "No, sorry Jane, I can't leave the jungle." And then Jane jumps in the water to be with him. And then Jane's father like, "Heck, why not? I'll stay here too." And then they all live in the jungle together. Happy ending. I love this movie, but it isn't as good as... Oh, I know people are going to hate me for putting The Lion King this low, because it's a lot of people's favorite Disney movie. But I generally think it's overrated. That doesn't mean I don't like it. I want that to be very clear. I do like this movie. I like it. But I've heard a few times that this is a perfect movie, but there are a few reasons why I don't think that is true. Simba is a really vanilla character. Everything he does is to further the plot instead of showing an actual personality. The first half of the movie has its slow moments, while the second half of the movie feels rushed. We see Simba growing up in just one song, and we don't see a lot of bonding between Timon, Pumbaa, and Simba. Because Nala suddenly appears and then we get this trash romance. Yes, I said it. I think the romance is horrible. I believe that the only reason they included the romance was because of the Circle of Life theme. There was no other reason to put romance in this movie, and I don't even think Nala and Simba had any chemistry. The Hunchback of the Notre Dame is constantly criticized for being tonally inconsistent, and Brother Bear is often criticized for starting dark but then switching to baby humor. I think The Lion King has something in common with these two. It's totally inconsistent, shifting from dark moments to baby humor about farts. While that was a lot of criticism, But as I said in the beginning, I do like this movie. The Lion King has the best opening of any Disney movie. Heck, maybe even of any movie ever. It's one of the most iconic openings I can think of. The story and message are amazing. Scar is one of the best villains with one of the best villain songs. The songs are fun and catchy. I remember singing and dancing to them when I was a child, and the color scheme is beautiful. It's so bright, so vibrant. The final battle is epic. This movie is pretty awesome, but maybe not perfect.
It's not on you! It's not on your cow!
We've entered the territory of movies that I absolutely love and find really hard to rank, so I guess I have to nitpick to decide what my top 4 is going to be. Yeah, Mulan's in 4th place. Personally, I think some parts of this movie are a little bit slow, and there are moments where it loses me a bit. I think this is the only movie in the top 4 that might be a little scary for young audiences. I remember being terrified of this movie as a kid. Though, to be fair, I was scared of a lot of things, including Pikachu from Pokemon, so I'm not sure if I'm the best judge. Lastly, out of the top 4, this movie has the weakest soundtrack in my opinion. While Reflection and I'll Make a Man Out of You are amazing, let's get down to business, to defeat the Huns. Oh, that song is so catchy. I don't really like A Girl Worth Fighting For, and I can't remember if the movie even has any other songs, but like I said, I have to nitpick because the rest of this movie is amazing. Mulan is one of the best Disney protagonists. You can't help but have deep respect for her, dedication, strength, and loyalty. It's to be admired. Unlike Simba and Nala, this movie has an amazing romance. It also gives us one of the funniest side characters, Mushu. Thanks for ruining him, Mulan 2. After the Bronze Age, The Little Mermaid was a breath of fresh air. It perfectly tells the tale from the Brothers Grimm, and I don't see how it could have been done any better. Ariel is just such a great protagonist. I love how she just wants to explore the world because she's so fascinated by human things. That's why I hate it when people say, oh, she just wanted to become a human because she wanted a man. No! Have you even heard Part of Your World? She sings about wanting to dance, wanting to see a fire burn, and experience the simple human things. She never sings about wanting to marry some guy. That's only what Ursula focuses on in Poor Unfortunate Souls. Another thing that I love about Ariel is how expressive her personality is without even speaking. You can tell exactly what she's thinking just by her facial expressions. She has more personality than any character in Dinosaur. Not that that bar is set high, but without speaking. Of course, Ariel isn't the only great character in this movie. Ursula is one of my favorite Disney villains. Sebastian and Flounder are some of my favorite sidekicks, and King Triton has such a great redemption arc. The animation is stunning, the soundtrack is phenomenal, and the romance is adorable. Honestly, I don't have anything bad to say about this movie. I just love it. I am more than what I am to you. Beauty and the Beast is such a good movie that I don't even know where to start. I could begin with how amazing the opening is. Belle is such a great Broadway-like song that immediately captures the essence of the town where Belle lives, and we get to know a little bit about Belle. Or I could talk about how Be Our Guest is the perfect musical number with stunning visuals. I could say that both the villain songs in this movie are in my top 10 favorite Disney villain songs. Or how I think Gaston is one of the best villains. Don't even get me started about the romance. This is one of the best Disney romances. It's such an unlikely romance. A beast who is nasty and mean, and a girl who has a heart of gold meet each other because he literally captures her. But then, when he saves her, she slowly realizes he has a good heart. Then they both make each other better and fall in love with each other. And at the end, Belle's love for the beast breaks the curse, and he turns into a prince again. It's such a beautiful romance, and such a beautiful story. Oh, and then I haven't even spoken about the side characters. They are all so fun and exciting to watch. Even though they don't always further the plot, they still add so much to the movie because they bring life to the castle, making this movie and world feel so real. I don't see how a movie could get any better than this one. So remember I said it couldn't get any better than Beauty and the Beast? Well, I mean, I hope you remember it was like 3 seconds ago. Well, I was kind of right. Choosing between Hercules and Beauty and the Beast was one of the hardest decisions of my life. Well, okay, it's not that serious. I have to admit, in some ways, I believe Beauty and the Beast is better than Hercules, but I enjoy Hercules more. Hercules is such an enjoyable protagonist. He feels like an outsider, which makes sense because he's a literal god. You can totally understand where he's coming from. That's why Go the Distance is such a powerful I Want song. You get why he wants to fit in. He doesn't even have any friends at the start. And his power is extreme, which makes sense because, again, he's a god. He just wants to do something good for once. It's a beautiful way of wanting to become a hero. I have to say, I love every character in this movie. Hades is a really good Disney villain. Megara is one of my favorite Disney princesses. Phil is an actual legend. Pegasus is hilarious. I love the scene where he was jealous of Meg and then purposely flew faster to scare her. I can't think of a single character that irritated me. The soundtrack in this movie is phenomenal. I love how the story builds around the music. This movie couldn't exist without it. And then we also get I Won't Say I'm in Love, which I love so much. The ending is so beautiful. The love Hercules and Meg have for each other is inspiring. I mean, who wouldn't want a romance like theirs? It's one of the best Disney romances. I absolutely love this movie.